I'm Kevin Shaw, and you're watching the Watercraft Journal.
It goes without saying that all of us at the Watercraft Journal were excited to learn that Kawasaki's longest running runabout, the STX 15F, was getting a much needed refresh for 2020. Although much of the recreation segment jet ski would remain the same, most notably the hull and jet pump assembly, a larger portion of the machine would be new. Upon its introduction, Kawasaki revealed that the STX 15F would make way for three different optioned watercraft: the STX 160, the 160X, and the 160LX. And that's precisely the model that Kawasaki provided us for testing today, the 2020 Kawasaki STX 160LX. Priced with an MSRP of $11,699, the STX 160LX brings with it a whole new design, greater ergonomics, and plenty of punch to send the other guys running. The Watercraft Journal was invited to put the new STX 160LX through its paces, so we flew out to sunny Southern California for 2 nights at the luxurious Paradise Point Resort that occupies its own island in San Diego's Mission Bay. But there was no time to sit on the beach and relax, we had too much work to do. As noted, the 2020 STX was redesigned from the Bond line up, with a whole new deck design. The footwells are deeper and much wider, giving the rider plenty of room to move around. The progressive rear swim platform is wide and steps down to a lower level, together with a thickly padded folding swim step that integrates into the bumper rail and a 2-rung reboarding ladder, makes reboarding the STX one of the easiest to do in the industry. In fact, a great deal of detail has been put into the rear of the STX. Below the rear passenger seat is a rubberized pouch that stows a dock line or a tow rope with ease. The step deck and footwells are covered in a 2-tone CNC cut HydroTurf traction mat as well. Of course, a key feature is Kawasaki's new hinged rear seat that folds up to reveal a removable deep well storage tub. The rear seat simply unlatches, slides backward, and then up vertically. A small stainless steel kickstand keeps the seat upright. If you're looking to access the engine compartment, the rear seat simply slides out, and its 2 arms slip out of their tracks. For the 160LX, the seats are tiered and wrapped in a grippy 2-tone cover using the same heat-resistant material found on the Kawasaki's top-of-the-food chain Ultra 310LX. Up front is a generously sized storage bin that together gives the STX its 35-gallon total storage capacity. It's definitely nowhere near the neighborhood of being watertight, as we learned during a grueling all-day Victory at Sea excursion up and down the San Diego coastline. So be mindful when packing more sensitive items like cameras and video recorders. On the plus side, Kawasaki took a page from Sea-Doo and installed a waterproof lid to the inside of its glove box. On the 160LX, there's also a new USB socket to charge your smartphone, which is appreciated. The Kawasaki retains its immobilizer colored key anti-theft system, so the new glove box is a little bit tighter than the models that preceded it. We did note that the glove box's lid has a wonky latch that won't snap shut on its own, so you're going to have to manually secure it if you wish to keep anything from flying out. To compensate for the lost room in the glove box, 2 cup holders were molded into the top deck, just ahead of the dashboard. These are wide and deep enough for most standard cans or bottles, but could benefit from some padding at their base just to absorb some shock and vibration that sent our water bottles flying this day. The LCD dashboard is serviceable, slightly glare resistant, and reads off the tachometer and speed in large legible readouts. An eco icon will appear with a chime when operating in what Kawasaki's engineers deemed to be the engine's optimal curve for maximum fuel consumption. After a while, the constant chirping of the eco bell became bothersome as we throttled in and out of the preferred speed. The STX's redesigned handlebars are a shining feature. The neck is long and thin, with a sleek narrow pad. The bars are capped with color-matched pistol grip style hand grips that are flat-sided and thin. With the addition of Kawasaki's full fly-by-wire throttle management system, new to the STX for 2020, the recreation segment watercraft gets its first swing at cruise control and no wake mode, both found on the driver's right-hand side. The buttons are identical to those used in today's Yamahas because they share the same supplier, so if you know one, you'll know the other. Sadly, the 2020 STX lineup returns with a manually operated reverse lever. 11 years since Sea-Doo first introduced the on-water braking in 2009, Kawasaki has yet to adopt the technology that has saved lives and thousands of dollars in damage. Although the lever has been moved from the right hand to the left hand side, but its throw is so brief that there is zero room to feather a neutral position. You're either idling forward or reverse. It can be immensely frustrating while trying to dock or waiting to circle up with your friends. And in a similar love it or leave it carryover, the STX 160LX comes in the ever-present ebony and candy lime green color variant. The candy lime does pop nicely in the sun, but come on, Kawasaki's don't always have to be green, guys. Hopefully, demand will open the way for future color options. A key feature for the 160LX is the addition of jet sounds. Previously exclusive to the Ultra 310LX, the Jet Sounds audio system provides a pair of 30-watt waterproof speakers smartly mounted below the mirrors, powered by an amp rated at 20 watts, which can play all the MP3s your smartphone or other digital music player can carry. You'll definitely hear your music at full speed, and so will your neighbors, and the integrated head unit lets you toggle through bass and treble settings as well. But for us, the biggest additions for the STX lineup were beneath the seat. As mentioned, the 1498cc 4-stroke dual overhead cam 4-cylinder gets the same fly-by-wire throttle, ignition, and engine management system as the larger Ultras, thus giving it the ability to operate in cruise control or no wake mode. No wake mode is permanently set at 5 miles per hour, no toggling up or down here. Cruise control does permit the upward adjustment of 5 miles per hour from the set speed though. And feeding the 1.5 liter is the massive 20.6 gallon fuel cell from the Ultras as well. This gives the STX the largest fuel capacity of any competitor's entry into the recreation segment, although fuel consumption is an entirely different matter. When loaded down with fuel and oil, the STX 160LX weighs in at 877 pounds. That's 110 pounds over the Yamaha VX Cruiser HO and 140 pounds over Sea-Doo's GTI SE 170. Fully loaded with fuel, gear, and a 240-pound rider pounding over brutal Pacific Ocean chop, we never saw over 56 miles per hour during our testing. Certainly, smoother conditions, less fuel, and a lighter rider would let the 160 horsepower on tap push it to a slightly higher speed. And while we found top speed great in short bursts, we found that the STX's handling over whitecaps and pounding through surf admirable, just like its predecessor. Equally, its progressive throttle control eliminated the jerky surging of previous cable-operated throttles, making for a more enjoyable ride. In all, the new STX 160LX is a much overdue refresh of the otherwise staid recreation segment entry from Kawasaki. It's fun for sure, and offers plenty of bells and whistles to make it competitive on the showroom floor. To a degree. The lack of an on-water braking system or even a true neutral on the reverse lever is disheartening, and will likely ward off the uninitiated or cautious buyer, particularly when such safety features are now standard equipment on the competition. That's not to say the STX isn't any good, it really is, but it's just this close from being great. I'm Kevin Shaw, and you've been watching the Watercraft Journal. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. It really does help. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Until then, check us out at www.watercraftjournal.com for new articles published every day, Monday through Friday.